almost feels anticlimactic. It is Sunday at Fuji, the day after one of the most enthralling championships has come to its conclusion. The support category to the final round of the World Super Touring Championship on the exact same venue. Some final weekends for certain manufacturers, certain drivers. We'll come to that if entertainment gets a little bit subdued. Alongside me, Adrian Michael Rees, is Michael Swinnerton, and one of the strangest occurrences happened overnight, where there was some sort of reserved slot in the back of the paddock over the Saturday. Sunday, first thing in the morning, I was up fresh as a daisy about 5 o'clock, thanks to some bizarre jet lag, and there was a cloth-covered car. I had rang you, Swinny, and I was like, "Get here! This is something." And we discovered what was going to happen for next season. It was the surprise introduction, and this picks up from the Japanese rounds where we're talking about a third Chaser Motorsports car, which didn't make sense. Turns out Chaser Motorsports, who do the Crown Athletes, Swinny, are making a priority entry for next season's World Super Touring. Red Flag Motorsport. This is a new thing for, well, completely news to us then, Swinny, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're not wrong. We'll get this one out of the way quickly before the lights go green here. Yeah, Red Flag Racing, brand new outfit. It's a mixture of Chinese and Korean and Malaysian. There's all sorts of people in there. But they're all Toyota enthusiasts, so they want to run a Crown Athlete. That's what they had their heart set on, because a lot of the personnel of that team own Crown Athletes and Toyota Chasers and all the other kind of weird and wonderful Toyotas that might not necessarily have been sold in Europe, so we're not used to seeing them around. But here in the Far East, they're a bit of a staple. Really looking forward to seeing what that car does next year. We know the Crown Athlete can be quick. Toyota did nick some wins in the World Series when they took part. So, yeah, best of luck to them. Always good to see fresh faces on the grid.
And speaking of fresh faces, Nicky Lammers on pole, dynamite in qualifying Friday evening.
Yeah, for sure. I'm genuinely surprised at Alfa Romeo and BMW's qualifying efforts here, because this is a power circuit at the end of the day, and power circuits tend to favour front-wheel drive machinery in this series. So Whitman and Fisichella are definitely making a big power play, or continuing to make their big power play for the championship. But we have Jean Aiello in 5th place there in the Renault. He's not out of this yet. He's still mathematical possible. If he beats them, and if the Alphas have a catastrophically bad day, then he could walk away with a title before he retires.
We'll soon see that then. Almost written off before this weekend began. But let's see how the maths pans out as Fisichella off the line, Wittmann off the line, Alfa already first and second, Schneider up to third. We're expecting Webber BMW to take 4th place. No, we don't. Lammers back up to third. Duma up to 5th. Aiello down to 7th as turn 1. Daiichi, you're seeing one of the Tamiya Hondas as well with a good start, but starting to fall back a little bit as through Coca-Cola they go. Bianchi up to 8th around Thompson. Salo with a good performance, all things considered, with the Ford. Lammers back down to 4th then. Webber almost on the inside, but the hairpin. Lammers favoured on the inside. Bit of a dive bomb perhaps. No, Schneider's fenced that one off right now. So Whitman out of the hairpin, leading. Ahead of Fisichella after that good start. Whitman is in prime position then. Maths are now stacked in her favour. This is going to be will it be comfort zone from now on for these two cars? Will Fisichella want to play the team game? Fisichella will want that championship too, you know. Exit of Dunlop, exit of the twistiest part of the track. Up the hill they go. Schneider starting to close in. I think this is going to be defensive mode from Fisichella for the first formative laps of this race. And a fairly clean getaway the high-speed traffic jam for 12 laps. A bit of a reduction from the 13 of the Japanese Super Touring, but there we go. Wirtz up to 10th, Renault bound for season 5. Gasho saying farewell, of course, to this team, as is his teammate Aiello. Ingram 13th. Hopefully a better performance than what we saw with Mitsubishi yesterday. Lap 1 complete.
Yeah, that was a really good clean lap from everybody there. No major shunts. It's interesting to see that Volvo are so far down the order. But Alfa Romeo is where it's at right now. Formation flying at the front of the field here. I think the main fight is now going to be for third, because Lammers looks like he wants that back. That Honda having its, what we've seen before, which is early run speed out of the car.
Bianchi and Aiello battling for 8th and 9th. Bianchi is in prime position to get the Renault slot out of the Euros. Privateer 3M bound, their best performance recently. They are parting ways with the Worlds, heading towards the American National Championship. We see Gasho down the inside of Wirtz, perhaps. Oh, Ingram with a bit of a shove there, perhaps. Maybe it was. I can't see that being a major wobble on for Gasho. You can see Ingram also trying to recover from something. We didn't see it, but it's very likely that that was the case, Sweaty.
Yeah, I don't know whether that was a shunt or otherwise. We might be able to get a replay, but we've seen the Renault. Yeah, we've seen the Renault get. Oh, Salo, there's not quite space there, mate. We've seen the Renault get loose on corner entry like that before, so it wouldn't surprise me if one of Renault's biggest foibles has just reared its ugly head again for Gasho, and that car is looking a bit wobbly like it did a couple of seasons ago.
This is not how you try to decide the title in the final weekend of the season. The pundits, the experts in the paddock, online, it is almost telepathic that it's not going to be Renault's day. It's very much Alfa's day, but we haven't even got past lap 2 yet. Wittmann already in the books with the fastest lap, but let's see what happens with the back of the pack.
Yeah, we saw it with the Japanese series yesterday. The fastest lap could theoretically come from anywhere, because people can get such a good slipstream going down the start-finish straight as Wirtz makes up another place and gets himself around the privateer entry. Yeah, but the slipstreaming can give you a good couple of extra miles an hour, which really does then almost guarantee you a fastest lap round here. So being quick round the corners is one thing, but if you can get yourself quick around the corners and then get yourself a dancing partner for the start-finish straight, you will end up posting a phenomenal lap time and getting those extra 2 points.
One final scream for Volkswagen. They enter the top 10, potential for a front row start, ahead of both Gasho. Ingram's just got ahead of Bianchi as well. That's going to be an interesting battle throughout then. Only early days yet. But yeah, we know Volkswagen are going to be privateer support outright, whilst the other partnership in Europe, Audi, bail out of their potential campaigns. Ingram for the Dunlop chicane in 11th then. Bianchi down to 12th.
Yeah, Bianchi had a good qualifying position, but that 3M Ford has just not had the pace in it this year. Neither him nor Wickens have been able to really demonstrate any of their driving talents, because that car they've just been chasing their tails all season long with that car. So hopefully going to the American series, where costs are a bit lower and whatnot, they can work on that car a bit more and get themselves up the order in that championship, because it's clearly not working in the World Series here.
Evidence of dents on Bianchi's front bumper as well. Schneider crossing the line in 3rd, Lammer still 4th, Webber still 5th, Thompson up to 6th. So, well, we've seen this before several times in the run up to the end of the season. It's going to be Alfa, BMW, Honda just there but not thereabouts. It's been an awkward season for Honda. Thompson still clambering on to what seems to be 8th place almost throughout the entirety of this championship, no matter what points he's on. Most unfortunate for the Brit. Aiello 8th, Dumas closing in on that front bumper of Aiello's. The potential wobble on you see it there from Aiello's onboard through the 100R.
Yeah, you heard the tyre squeal, the rear tyres squealing of the Renault there. I spoke to Jason Thompson earlier this weekend, and he did say, whilst Honda have had a good year, all things considered, they're not quite where they want to be in the constructors' cycle. And Thompson himself was actually hoping for a couple more race wins this year rather than just the one, which is obviously more than his teammates the nothing, but still. They've had a good season, but they're still a little bit disappointed with what they've managed to produce.
The behemoth, or the immovable objects of BMW and Alfa, obviously a lot more work to be done within the limitations of the Super Touring franchise as well, by the way. Fingers crossed Honda get it even better for season 5. Volvo, best, well, no other manufacturers have started this season. Good showing, being a substitute for Toyota. Ingram with a couple of wins. Ekstrom with a win as well. Actually, I've got that the wrong way around. Ekstrom with 2, Ingram with 1. So they've had a very good season, all things considered. Just a bit subdued this final meeting. Gasher down the inside of Wirtz then.
A little bit of argy-bargy, but Wirtz keeps the position. This is the main fight right now, is who wants pole position for race 2. And it's a 3-way fight because Ingram is there. He's just got a front row seat for all of this. And of course, if Gasho makes a bit of a mistake on attacking Wirtz, Ingram can pounce upon that opportunity.
Schneider with the fastest lap after the first third of this particular race 1, and a very clear sky so far. Obviously we were keeping tabs on it yesterday. I'm still hedging my bets that this might be a completely dry race 1, albeit a completely dry race 2 as well. Gasho questionable through Dunlop, but I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah,
it is a very tight corner
there for sure.
Wirtz defending for all his might.
And of course, if this lot decide to drive a little bit more sensibly, say sensibly might not be the right word, but either way, we can see in front of us here, sitting on board with Ingram, that you can see Aiello, Duma and Thompson. They're right there. This could become a 6-car fight.
All the while the 5-car fight further up, splitting off of its own. Thompson being a bit of a cork.
Yeah, Nicky Lammers is currently the outlier in the quote-unquote rear-wheel drive class at the front of the field here.
They are getting there. They have been there this season, as Winnie mentioned. 1 win, stacked in favour of Alfa this season, as far as wins are concerned. Lammers with his personal best as well in that sector. Slipstream from Schneider, no doubt. Top 5 in tandem. Hampton.
Yeah, just running line astern right now, not doing anything crazy, not doing anything potentially silly. I think all 5 of these cars are going to be happy to pick up the points, the leader in particular. So they are still racing drivers at the end of the day. We cannot rule out that someone is going to try and take a position off of someone else, but it wouldn't surprise me if all 5 of these drivers are just happy to finish where they are and look forward to race 2.
If not the position, then the lap time. We just saw Schneider with her personal best as well this particular lap.
Webber maybe getting a bit close on the back of Lammers. Lammers struggling to keep up with the other cars through the complex here. In theory, he should start pulling away again down the straight. Depends on how good of an exit he gets here. And off they go, accelerating down the straight.
And keep an eye on the timing boards. The beam is just over the halfway distance of this long straight, one of the longest in the series. Schneider getting it down to a 0.111 there. Then maybe one of these slipstreamers further back, will they unlikely Wirtz fending. Ingram also within touching distance of P1 for race 2 as well. Gasho, yes, what started off as almost a luxury gap with the performance in the Renault, it's just gotten very stale for the remaining 70% of the season.
Yeah, Gasho now hard on the defensive against Ingram. Ingram was all over the back of him there. I think the wobbly nature of that Renault is coming back to bite him. I think he is quicker than Wirtz currently, but now having to defend so hard against Ingram, Ingram has decided enough of this. He wants to get through this traffic in front of him.
So a gap, but Gasho was obviously on the line there.
It's allowed Wirtz to get a bit of a gap, get some breathing room. Gasho with another big wiggle there. There's something wrong with that Renault, we're not sure what.
And even they still scratched, have had their head scratched.
It's doing the worst of both worlds. It's understeering in places and oversteering in places. You saw it demonstrate both problems just through that complex alone there.
Complex that's been there for nearly almost, well, the
20 years
year
now,
of this version of the variant. Unlike the traditional pole position layout that we all know, chicanes or not, Gasho still 10th, trying to get that position off of Wirtz, and one of the best performances that Volkswagen has seen all season, then shadow of its former self when it was Scirocco's.
Yeah, Volkswagen never really quite got that Golf to work, sadly. They were championship contenders with the Scirocco, but since turning up with that Golf, they had a good weekend at the Red Bull Ring last season, where both Suarez and Wirtz picked up race wins and they locked out the weekend. But this season has been a very different story, where there's been way too many or finishes outside of the points, which for a works entry is an absolute no-no.
I reckon that's put a dent in Suarez's potential chances for a World Super Touring slot next season. He's also America-bound, just like the 3M team are.
Yes, he's going to go drive for a new team he's staying in the same car, ironically. The new team that's formed is buying that second Golf off of the Works team. So they're bringing Suarez along because of his familiarity with the car. I don't know how long he'll stay there, therefore. No.
Fantastic rookie campaign also in the Scirocco. Fantastic rookie campaign for Dumas all round. He's pretty much nailed on for the privateer driver, and DHL Rennsport, same again, nailed on for the privateer team championship in this very race. And the way things are heading, with Schneider scraping another 10th off her personal best, and therefore the race's best lap down to 9.004, but also Wittmann, it's one hand on the title, and I try my best not to say it every single time we do a race meeting, unless something really stupid happens. Fisichella being very in the mindset of team player now, I reckon. Being in P2, it's Alphas, both in the teams and the drivers, with these 2.5 laps remaining of race 1.
Yeah, you can see Fisichella is starting to act as rear gunner a bit. There was a big gap between him and Wittmann, but a very small gap between him and Schneider behind, with Lammers and Webber in tow. So either Fisichella's burnt his rear tyres out a little bit, or he's scrubbed his fronts a little bit too hard by driving the car a little bit too hard through this complex, or he is literally backing off to give Wittmann the win and hold up the two Beamers and Honda behind him.
And it's still the big five of this weekend. Lammers with the qualifying time, and then the big 4 drivers in the big 2 teams. Thompson playing blocker now. I don't think he's doing any Lammers any favours. Or maybe it is.
Lammers are still doing a good job to keep up with these rear-wheel drive cars, because of course I joke that they're the rear-wheel drive class, but I think I said it at the Nürburgring, these are also the only cars with a 6-cylinder engine in the grid, so they do also have that slight displacement advantage over a lot of the other cars as well.
And no major stragglers at the back of the pack as well. They're just in a sensible grouping, but none of them are going to be in any good position for a pole position in race 2. And surprisingly, we saw how well one of the Tamiya Hondas was at the start, but they are now plumb last. Bianchi down to 14th with Palou behind. Yeah, not a spectacular advert for Ford, or indeed the racing version of the Focus.
No, they're definitely going to have to try and
right there.
Do something. Oh, yeah.
Well,
Bianchi's wiggle caused Palou to hit the brakes, and that's allowed Kubica to be a bit opportunistic, get his BMW in between the two of them. Can he get himself past Bianchi now?
That was a golden opportunity. Down the inside of Dunlop, perhaps on Bianchi. Nope, Bianchi still ahead.
Not quite this time. Kubica's had a good solid season so far. He's had a few disappointing race finishes, but the team have been realistic. They're a brand new privateer outfit for this season of the World's Series, so they knew they were going to have it up against them, going up against teams that have got a lot more experience under their belt. But all things considered, they have
very good season for Kubica, even if it's not going to be rookie stakes. Ekstrom's managed to claim that as well.
Ekstrom, if we're being realistic, Ekstrom was always going to claim that, being in a works drive compared to the privateers. Ekstrom just sort of sitting by himself at the minute in 12th, just having a lovely time of it seems.
Yeah, it's apart from the major players in the championship, the team's drivers have considered this a bit of almost like a party, a fun run. Vert's down to 11th now.
Yeah, he's lost that. He's somehow, Gasho and Ingram have somehow gotten around him, and this is really highlighting how Wirtz was kind of holding them up a little bit, and how this Golf has just not been the wonder child that Volkswagen were hoping, because he's already lost ground to them, as we see Gasho and Ingram still going at it.
You cited it when we did the season preview that there's going to be a lot of yellow and blue action, and self-evident right here. Renault's blue and yellow, Volvo's blue and yellow, little hints of white.
And some slight shading differences, but yeah, we really have seen an awful lot of that over the course of this season. There's both blue and yellow cars fighting each other on track. Doesn't matter if it's for the lead, for a podium, for the top 10, for the last points paying position. It's always been Volvo and Renault stuck together somewhere.
And stuck together at Bathurst, most definitely. And let's sort of just draw a less than discreet veil over that as the season comes to an end.
Yeah, I think that's water under the bridge at this point. It's been so long ago now.
And the top 5 with the final lap to go. Gasho, however, fastest lap, the lap prior then, scraping under the 149s as the too late for 2 points.
I think that's the wrong Renault that's got the fastest lap as well. We needed it to be Aiello.
And I wonder if any of this back marker crop hit the pin. Well then, okay. Where have we seen that before?
How did you manage that one, Mark?
Well, did Ingram, of all the silly things that happened, because Ingram was in front of Aiello at Brands. Okay, I stand corrected, said the man in the orthopedic shoes.
Either that was brake failure, or once again, Ingram was just too good at filling the rear view mirrors, and Mark was very, very distracted.
Wow. Yes, so highlighting that when they aim high, how the mighty have fallen. and that was the example of how Renault's seasons has gone there. Oh, Fisichella finally making a play for the lead, knowing that Wittmann could still win the championship by being second in this race. But given that this is the technical section, I don't think Wittmann is going to be losing that lead. Late play for Fisichella there, but still having to defend with one turn to go. So she's done it again. Sabine Wittmann, final turn. The Green Goddess is going to win Season 4 of the World Super Touring Championship. Alfa are going to win the Constructors. Very happy Italian mechanics and team members in the pit lane right now. Very happy Wittmann indeed as well. Thompson says it all, really not getting anywhere near the top echelons. 6th place, decent points. Duma, Independence champion. DHL Independent Teams champion. All happening in this very race. Gasho across the line. Renault definitely confirming that they've not got anywhere near Alfa. Ekstrom pretty much nailed on for Rookie of the Year as well. And everyone across the line. Tamiya propping up the back of the pack. A very good race. Not the most entertaining, but we're obviously pleasantly surprised that there was at least something to be seen. Having especially if you haven't seen the Japanese Championship. I mean, where have you been? It's on the same channel, for God's sake. But yeah, Swinny, we look forward to race 2 with bated breath, but that was a good one.
Yeah, especially now that championship questions have been answered, it wouldn't surprise me if drivers decide to be a little bit more reckless just because they can. Couple of notes to take away from that race now that, as I said, championship questions have been answered. Sabine Wittmann has continued the trend, followed by Gianni Liuzzi and Gordon Butcher.
Yep.
Car number 4 apparently is the car number to have. Car number 4 has just won every single championship. Well done.
Season
there.
4, all the 4s.
Yes. And
now
with
Season
Duma,
5.
well, yes, with Duma winning the Privateers title, that means Alfa Romeo have done the sweep of manufacturers and privateers. Well done to Alfa Romeo indeed. And also, this is something I was going to bring up during the race and never got the chance. I've heard rumblings and rumours within the paddock that DHL are actually going to up themselves to 2 cars next year. So we might see a 4th Alfa join the grid. But overall, yeah, no, that was entertaining as much as we were expecting to be. I was expecting people to play it safe and conservative because championships were on the line. So I'm kind of hoping for some fireworks next race.
And we hope so too. Yeah, I have no more to say than that. We'll see you for race 2. We're going to go off for a break, and we shall see you later. Good racing, everyone.